start thinking about what's our plan. Rather than jumping in and taking polyps off, it's important to think about planning what we're going to do for this patient. So Guy's is going to start us off with talking about demented polyps. I'm going to hear a fantastic talk, I'm sure, about serrated polyps and even Becca. And I'm going to talk about polyposis syndrome with Dr. Axford as well.
Good morning. Well, I think we've all been hearing a lot about the importance of polyp detection. The question is, once we've found these polyps and resected them, what should we do about them? We've all heard a lot about the idea of in vivo diagnosis. That is making a diagnosis on what the histology is likely to be of a polyp before we remove them. And why is this important? An in vivo diagnosis has many attractive concepts to it. It enables an early diagnosis and surveillance intervals to be set at the time of endoscopy, enabling a more appropriate management to be made from an early stage. It means we can give patients reassurance, and perhaps most importantly, we can result in some quite significant cost savings across the health service. We have seen from modelling studies from the US and also from studies from the United Kingdom that these savings can be quite large. Look at the studies from the States. They suggested that up to $33 million a year could be saved by making in vivo diagnosis on small polyps. And a similar study from our own unit showed that if you looked at per patient screened in the UK bowel cancer screening programme, you could be saving quite a lot of money. So where are we up to with all of this? Well, the American Society of Gastrointestinal Endoscopy has recognised this as being important and started releasing some statements on where we should be with in vivo diagnosis and what standards need to be met in order to make these. I'm not going to go through these guidelines today, but they're based around rescope intervals, and if you want to leave small left-sided polyps in situ, negative predictive values. So what techniques do we have available to make these diagnoses? Well, basically the techniques are some things we've already heard about today. Primary endoscopy, and we have electronic image enhancement, whether that's in the form of narrowband imaging or the Olympus scopes, FICE on the Fujinon scopes, or iScan on the Pentax scopes. There's also confocal endomicroscopy, which I'm going to leave out of this discussion because that involves expensive probes which significantly diminish any cost arguments. So indigo carmine is where it all began. It's a nice picture of a small polyp stained with indigo carmine. It's a surface dye that just sits on the surface of polyps, and of course it is just a simple food colouring, which makes it very safe. Similar image as some of a hyperplastic polyp. There's been a lot of papers published on indigo carmine. I've just brought to your attention a study that we published here from Portsmouth earlier this year, which looked at 237 small polyps. It looks at the polyps of